Hi, Benji here, and I want to talk about I'm a Celeb and how public voting on reality TV makes racial prejudice in the UK more explicit. Every winner of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here UK has been white across 25 series, and only 4 global majority contestants have ever made the final. The most recent being Adam Thomas in the 2016 series, almost a decade ago. This adds another layer to the ongoing conversation around racial bias on The Traitors UK, which has been largely focused on how racialized assumptions shape how players interact with each other, often without conscious intent. But shows where outcomes are also decided by public voting also aggregate audience preferences at scale. And when you look at who repeatedly reaches the final and wins on shows like I'm a Celeb, and at how contestants are discussed by the viewing public, a racialized pattern emerges. A recent example is how Nella Rose was received compared to Nigel Farage in the 2023 series. Nella was widely characterized as unreasonable and difficult, following her emotional response to a comment made by another contestant in jest about being her father at a time when she had recently lost her own. While she did misread the intent, her reaction came from grief. Despite this, she was afforded limited compassion from the viewing public and voted out second. In contrast, Nigel Farage received a broadly sympathetic reaction on the show, despite his long and well-documented record of bigotry, and he finished third place overall. The point isn't that every single individual vote is consciously motivated by race. There are multiple factors at play, but public voting systems make patterns of favor and disfavor very visible, and the outcomes on shows like I'm a Celeb repeatedly align with familiar racial stereotypes. This is a crucial part of the conversation regarding what reality TV in the UK tells us about racism here, as it can be tempting to treat bias on a show like The Traitors as an isolated issue with the show, rather than a reflection of how our society is. But factoring in the outcomes of public voting formats should make that position much harder to hold. Such shows aren't necessarily producing these dynamics, but evidencing them. This doesn't absolve producers of responsibility. Casting decisions and format choices still matter, as does the choice to platform certain people. Similar patterns have been evidenced on Love Island UK, for example, where more intentional production choices could definitely disrupt how desirability and social value are unevenly reinforced by the show. But reality TV also functions as a recurring social mirror, offering regular, accessible examples we can use to facilitate more evidence-based discussions about equity and fairness that move beyond abstraction towards action. I hope that helps. Bye.